Whether it's the loud shrieks, the wild vocals, or the dark and slasher-like sounds of the guitar, there's no denying that metal has its own place in music genres. Today, I'm going to start with how metal started, where it began, what bands, what they sung, and how it influenced America. And then I'm also going to inform you on how metal music affects other genres that you might not think about, and also how the new metal today is implementing things that not a lot of people think about or care to listen because they have their own ideas on what metal sounds like. So I'm also going to tell you how this affects me and why I really like metal music so much. So the first thing that we got to start out is how metal started. So metal kind of got its ideas from rock and then turned up all the sounds and how loud it was, and just they really took it from one of the biggest rock bands at the time, because it started in the 1960s, was from Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin had this new feel to it that no one really had heard from before, because they were used to the Rolling Stones or the Beatles. They had more of like a whoop and a holler when it came to their rock sound. So one of the first influential metal musics was Ozzy Osbourne and his band Black Sabbath. Well, Black Sabbath kind of took from what Led Zeppelin was kind of laying down, and they were like, okay, we're going to add stronger guitars with a lot more gain to it, and not necessarily screaming, but just louder and more darker tones into what lyrics they were providing. So both of those bands were in America, and they kind of flooded out, and this new genre that they started calling heavy rock or metal flew all the way even to Britain with formations of bands like Iron Maiden or other bands like that. So it really influenced out, and not only did it influence American society, but it also influenced the music genres and what was happening with other music tastes. So like that is rock music changed as well. Metal kind of set down the formation of long guitar ballads and different vocal lyrics. And some of your favorite songs could have been like Hotel California from the Eagles, or Lynyrd Skynyrd, The Simple Man. Both of those took from metal their long ballad intros and just toned down the guitar to keep it rock. And those are some of the best rock songs that have ever been created that you might not have thought had metal ties with it. So one thing that not a lot of people also think of is there's no way that metal could tie in with Nirvana, Billie Eilish, and rap today. So Nirvana started off with an out branch of metal. They kind of had the dark lyrics that metal had and the loud, strong guitars, and they kind of just made it into their own and started grunge. Billie Eilish today, she's more of a pop, but her lyrics are more of like a really dark, and on the other side, she doesn't really make too many happy songs, and metal was the first genre of music to start that. And then rap today has this technology breaks and like snares where they have a bunch of computer-based sounds going through them that metal was the first to start in the 1980s. So not only that, but the computer sounds that metal started to create gave them a vocal and a guitar-based sounds that no one ever really thought of. So the new metal and the effects on me are going to be like the bands of today, which are your Polaris, your Bring Me the Horizon, those bands like that take the computer sounds, generate them, and implement them into their songs. Well, Bring Me the Horizon is a great example of this, because they take computer-based sounds, add a pop layer to it, but then keep the dark undertones, the really strong guitar, and they even have those loud screeks and vocal whoops in them that keep them metal. So one of the reasons why I kind of fell in love with metal is it kind of gave me a little out space where I was able to just kind of join and like jump up and down and, you know, headbang, do all the things that kind of just made metal its own music. And that's another reason why I keep my hair really long, or other things like that. So, you know, I thought it was really interesting that not a lot of people would implement something that they have their own opinions on for metal and put it in there with like some of their favorite artists like Maroon 5, Billie Eilish, J. Cole, Nirvana. So maybe one day when you're going out and you're listening, just kind of think, hey man, maybe this came from metal.